you don't own your followers on any of these platforms.
No,
You don't own
no,
them.
no, you don't. And that's the crazy part. And a lot of people think that when you have a Twitter or a Facebook or a YouTube, because they didn't only just block Trump from Twitter, they blocked him from Google, YouTube, I think it was Snapchat and Shopify. And that
Shopify.
Shopify blocked him, bro.
What?
Yes.
I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first,
all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 2 Feet In show. This is episode 1 here with my main man, Kenny. And
what up,
this is we'll see how the name goes. We're sticking with it right now. If it changes, it changes. But if not, then that's the name, 2 Feet In. So yeah, what you got to say, Ken?
I like it, man. No, I like the 2 Feet In podcast, and it's just really symbolic, because entrepreneurship isn't a game. If you want to be the greatest to ever do it, like an MJ, a Kobe, or just one of the greats in life, you got to put 2 feet in. And we're just talking about anything, from money, wealth, health, happiness, and just all of those components that go into really putting 2 feet in and really just getting after it so you can be your best self. I think it's a beautiful topic that we're about to speak about.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, backstory, because we're just pretty much going to give an intro about ourselves and what we do and why we, started this show. And it just stemmed from the conversations we've been having over the phone since back in 2016, I think, is when we first started working with each other. And I mean, we've knew each other since high school, going to Servite, and so that's been our thing. But after we graduated from college, we kind of reconnected, and we started what was the first thing? What was the first thing we did? How did we connect again after college?
Yeah, so that was during a time where we started the media business, Rakin. And you were doing video, and you were absolutely crushing it. I remember seeing one of your videos on Facebook or something that you posted, and I was just shocked by the level of quality that you put together. So I immediately texted you and said, "Hey, what's up, bro? How's it going? We need to work together." And ever since then, the rest has been history, man. And we've been working together ever since. Your business has absolutely been crushing it. My business has been crushing it, and it's just, we feel as if this conversations that we have, I know a lot of other entrepreneurs are having, and why not just create a safe space where we can talk and kind of chop it up and have one of those candid conversations and just get better,
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, we've had these conversations over the phone so many times, and, we're like, why don't we just share this with everyone else? Because, we would have conversations with other people, in the business space, entrepreneurship space. And it just felt like the right time right now to continue this conversation, but outside of our just normal on the phone conversations, and I guess what we can do is we can just kind of give a backstory on, how we got into business, our interests and things like that. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been in business, this entrepreneurship game, for probably the last, I would say 8 years. Since I was 20 years old. I started my first business in college. It was a media company, similar to a BuzzFeed or a Thrillist or a Complex, where we went out and we really just covered culture in Southern California. And it was an amazing business. I learned a lot. And, that's when we started really working together and creating amazing content. And we grew a pretty substantial audience, but I wasn't able to monetize that audience, So I started to transition from there. I started a marketing agency where we were doing Facebook advertising for different clients. And it was a fun time in my life. I learned a lot, but I learned that I didn't really like working with clients and clients telling me what to do. And then as time went on, I actually transitioned and started a education company where we basically sell online courses within the tax space, tax education, and really educating self-employed entrepreneurs how to basically set up and start their business, all the tax compliance stuff, all the stuff that, as entrepreneurs, we want to do the glitzy, the glamour, the marketing, and really be in our craft, but we don't know exactly how the tax stuff works. So there was a big information gap. And my mom has been in the tax space her whole entire life. So I got, a lot of knowledge from her about how the tax, space works. And I put my marketing skills together and built that company to 7 figures through just a lot of internet marketing strategies and different things like that. So I'm gonna definitely, be on this show, giving you guys a lot of amazing tips on how you guys can grow your business through marketing and different tips. But not only that, just the mindset that you need, to execute at that level, whether you're trying to run a 6-figure company, 7-figure, or even move into 8 figures, and kind of what that process needs to look like when growing a business.
Awesome. Yeah, Kenny is definitely the expert when it comes to the marketing aspect. I come from a video production background. So where I guess I started getting into video production is back in high school. I always liked to create videos for projects and things like that whenever it required them to do so. And then, that kind of went on the back burner throughout because, we were playing football and that took up a lot of our time,
Yeah,
and I was doing also different other clubs and organizations and things like that. It wasn't until I got into college. And then when I got into college, I played football my freshman year in college, but then I broke my leg at the end of the season. At that point, it was kind of like, closing that chapter of, playing football and then focusing on the career aspect. And I decided to create highlight videos for, every single home game of the football season for my college team. And, people started to take notice of that. And then after that, I got hired to create videos for like promo videos for all the other athletic teams on campus. And then this was also like another turning point. I don't know if I shared this with you, Ken, but so it was literally the day of graduation. One of my friends said, "Hey, there's a opening for a video internship for the Seattle Seahawks. You should do it." And so I applied. I got in, and this was as I was heading back down to California, and they accepted my resume and they wanted me to meet with them back in their headquarters. So flew back up, met with them, and I felt I did well. But during this time, after I got through the resume process, got through the interview process and things like that, I was back home in California waiting to see what the verdict is, whether if I got the internship or not. I was thinking to myself, do I want to be in that corporate structure to where it's great exposure with the team, how things are run and things like that. But I just felt there was a cap. There was a cap to where I can go. Like, maybe 3 years, I'll probably be hopefully be the head of video production there and all that stuff. But then what? And then on the other side, I was thinking about, well, what if I just go all in on, starting my own video production company?
2 feet in.
Yeah, exactly. 2 feet in. And that's part of the reason why we chose that name too, going all in. That's what we like to do. Unfortunately, I wasn't chosen to be, for the video internship. So that kind of made my decision that much easier. So I went all in, went back to the alma mater, our high school, and I did the same process, offered to create highlight videos. And I did that for the whole season, built up from there, increased the network, and then started doing video production for a bunch of businesses. So now worked with companies like GoDaddy and Microsoft, and real estate is a majority of what I do, and also organizations and schools. So it's just been like a 5-year journey from then. And, I know, Ken, because you work with some big names too. And it's just, it just doesn't start like that. It's like, it just builds. It just builds little by little,
it's little by little, man. It's just a process, and you know, you want it so quickly, but you know, you look back and you're like, man, if I would have got it that quick at that age, I would have known what to do with it. You know, you just got to really, I know it's cliche, but you really have to trust the process, and it's just a process, dude. You got to put in your time, you know, and that's the beauty of it. You know?
100%, 100%. So yeah, that was just like our quick backstory intro. Dude, let's get into our talking points now.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
we got some juicy ones.
Let's do it.
First one, Trump being banned on Twitter.
Yeah, what is up with that, man? Big Trump is being banned.
Let me screen share this, dude.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring up some articles here.
Okay.
There we go. Oops. Can you just see?
Yep.
Okay, just the web browser.
Yep.
Okay. Let me increase this here. All right. So this is what we have here. Permanent suspension of @RealDonaldTrump.
Yep.
And this is the reason why. On January 8th, 2021, this is from Twitter's blog. So it says President Donald J. Trump tweeted, the 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, America first, and make America great again, will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. End quote. Shortly thereafter, this is what the blog says. The president tweeted, to all of those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th.
Right.
Okay, so that's what he tweeted. Now, This is the assessment here.
Okay.
Basically, what Twitter is saying, the reasons why. And so it says, I mean, long story short here, basically their reasoning is that his tweet is deemed offensive because it could incite violence.
Got it. Yeah, man. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, bro. And I think just to even start off with, I think first of all, for 2021 to start off the way that it started off, and when we saw that television and when the Capitol and all those people were there, I mean, dude, it was an absolute disgrace. I mean, period, whether you love Trump, you don't love Trump. I mean, even when it came to the political unrest during the Black Lives Matter protests, you know, I was a person who came out and said, dude, that's even bad, you know, so it's bad on both sides, you know, so it's just not good, dude, and it's a disgrace, and as Americans, we should never condone something like that. But
right.
To that point, though, with Twitter blocking Trump, I don't know, man. You know, it kind of makes me feel weird, you know, for a company like that to have that much power to completely shut somebody up, period, and just cut them off from the world. I don't know, man. It doesn't feel right to me. It feels weird, you know?
Exactly. And that brings up to the point that you don't own your followers on any of these platforms.
No.
You don't own them.
No, you don't. And that's the crazy part. And a lot of people think that when you have a Twitter or a Facebook or YouTube, because they didn't only just block Trump from Twitter, they blocked him from Google, YouTube, I think it was Snapchat, and Shopify. And that Shopify blocked him, bro.
What?
Yes. That like cuts off all your money.
Is he selling anything on Shopify?
Selling merchandise like little Trump coins and different things like that.
Oh my goodness.
Like the whole industry shut him out.
That's powerful.
And it's just it's a big power play, you know, whether you love him or hate him. That's not even the question. It's just, you know, from a perspective of these companies having so much power now to shut people out. I don't know, to me that's just scary, you know, but to your point, Mike, you're right. Like, you don't own these IPs where you think that, oh, I have a big Instagram following or YouTube following or this or that. You don't own that. And as a business owner, you think that, oh, this is what I need to have. This is big. You don't own it, man.
So what for someone that has, or, you know, they're on these platforms, what is something they can do to where they kind of get more control of their audience base?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. So I always preach this to any business owner, and people think I am just like, I'm telling you, build a email list. Like, your email list is the only thing that you can own, because you can always send emails to your list at any point in time, get them to go somewhere, buy something, da 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 da. You own that. You need to be leveraging these platforms for the one simple thing: build your own list, build your own IPs. It's so important, man. So important.
Right. And when you say list, you mean like email list, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Email list. 100%.
And I know there's other ways people kind of make communities too. Like email list is 100% like it's tried and true.
Yeah.
I know other people add in like the text aspect to it.
Yeah.
There's this one, I think it's, I don't know if it's an app, but it's a service. It's called Community. Have you seen it?
No, I've never seen Community. No, what's it
So
about?
it's what Gary Vee uses.
Oh, shit. Okay.
If you go on his Instagram and all these other influencers, but also some celebrities,
Okay.
they you see how they have their numbers.
Yeah.
They say text me. It's
Yeah.
through the Community app.
Okay. Got it.
And so that's just another way to bring in, more people into their audience, have a little bit more control outside
Oh,
of
yeah.
these big social media platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you brought up an extremely good point, man. I've seen that on Gary Vee's Instagram a lot, where, yeah, he does have his number, text me. And even after some of these videos I see, text me. And it's the same thing that we preach. It's, you can either build a text list or you can build an email list. You've got to build your own list in 2021 and moving forward, because you don't own these IPs. And just because you have 1 million followers, the next day, Instagram could just have a moment in time. Maybe they're going through something emotional. They say, you know what, Joe Schmo, you're off the platform, and everything you worked for is gone. So you just got to have that due diligence to make sure you're building your own, I call them your own IPs. You don't own these, man, at all.
Exactly. That's true. And I think that's something that people forget, because they think that these apps will stay there forever. You'll lose their followers. I mean, look at Vine.
Yeah, fine, man.
Vine.
RIP. RIP.
Oh, I know, RIP.
Yeah,
When did
RIP.
that came out? When we were in college? That was like
Yeah.
20. When did it come out? 2011,
I
2012.
think it was like 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, something around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that Vine was huge, but then it
Man.
only lasted till what, 2015?
Yeah, and all those people, and that was that. I'm so glad you brought that up. And all those people lost that massive audience, and it was only the smart people who understood, like, okay, I got to bring what I have right here to another platform, so I can definitely, have the same type of impact. But not only that, build a list, like the full deal. Like, you don't own these platforms. People think that Instagram's yours, Facebook yours. It's not.
It's not. No.
True.
And the ones that were smart enough, they migrated their audience. Like, for example, if you look at the migration of the audience on Vine, it was great traction for, like the bigger type of celebrities, online celebrities, like let's say Logan Paul, Jake Paul, for example.
Yeah.
Vine, they got their start on Vine. Then, they were able to put their Instagram handles there. Then they started getting more popular on Instagram. And then from Instagram, they migrated their audience over to YouTube and then became YouTubers.
Yeah.
So it's having that kind of like safety net, to where it's like trying to making sure to have your audience in more places, or as much places as possible. So it's not just concentrated on one platform.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens too. Because have that migration aspect, but if you can add in, like you said, the email list or text list, that's just an even better play, because that way you can sell to that audience.
Yes.
You can have promotions to the audience. You can do a bunch of different things that you probably won't be able to do on these other social media platforms.
Yeah, man. No, I think you made a great point, and just kind of like the whole Trump thing and just kind of the election. Because I study like the political marketing and kind of how they're doing it from both sides. From
Dude,
Biden
they're
did incredible
the political
crushing it.
marketing is something to study.
Man, it is. I'm telling you, if you guys are students of the game and you just want, if you're a business owner, wherever the case may be, study the way they do political marketing. Biden executed, Trump executed. And one of the things that I saw from Biden and Trump, especially Biden, though, every single time he did a commercial, he would literally in the commercial would text Joe to 355-555. Television, on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever, because they know how strong of having that own email and texting list is to activate people to do something, you know? So it needs to be a part of your guys' strategy going forward, 2021 and beyond, to build an email list, build a texting list. If you could double and triple your business and protect your business as well.
Exactly. And if you think about it, long after, these guys become, president and they're in the presidency, they
Yeah.
still have the list. They can still
Yeah.
pull from the list.
Oh
It
my
just
God.
doesn't stay when they're president.
No, and see, a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of these lists that Joe Biden and Trump are building, this data, this information is going to the RNC, going to the DNC, and they're basically taking those emails and doing analysis on them and different things like that for the next presidency, because the DNC has a massive email list of 100,000, 200,000, or not 200,000, 200 million, some odd people that they can instantly go to at a push of a button. And there's a reason they're doing that. So take those strategies and implement them for your own business, because it's brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's move on to the next topic here. So Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
man.
is the next topic. So what do you got to say about that? Because I know I have something to talk about, but I want to get your
Yeah,
perspective.
when it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is absolutely blowing up right now. I think it just depends. The thing I tell people when people ask me about, Ken, should I invest in Bitcoin? Should I do this for my business? Different things like that. I really think it comes down to your appetite as an investor and as a person who's investing. For me, I'm a person where a lot of volatility makes me unhappy as just a person. I'm a person that likes simple, streamline across the board type deal. And is there a massive opportunity in Bitcoin? 150%. I think right now, if you could get in, I think it's an awesome play, but do I think it's a long-term play? No, I absolutely don't. And for me, I'm just in the business of long-term plays. But I think there's an opportunity, I think there's a big opportunity from my perspective.
Yeah, I actually think, okay, so disclaimer, we're not financial experts in any way.
Don't take no advice from us.
We're not here to give financial advice. This is just from our perspective. I'm not invested in Bitcoin.
Okay.
I am invested in the market, but
Awesome.
Bitcoin, it's one of those things that, if you look back at the trajectory of Bitcoin back in 2017 I have to check.
I think it was 2017. I think
Yeah, there was that spike where it went up to close to 20,000,
yeah,
right?
20. Yep.
And then there is that big drop. People were selling after that. I know a lot of people were going crazy. And after a while, the Bitcoin hype kind of died down. And then once we started, seeing all this, inflation happening with the market and things like that, people are starting to put more of their money in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, honestly, I do think it's a long-term play, but it's for someone that is okay with volatility. Like I see where you're coming from, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like you really have to be able to go through the lows.
Yeah. And, if you think about it, like I know, or I've watched some videos on YouTube that showed how I believe JP Morgan and some of the banks are buying Bitcoin right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's always good to kind of, not just jump in it just because the banks are buying it and things like that. but just to look and observe. It's like, why?
Hmm.
Why are they
Hmm.
buying it?
Yep.
And it's,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. And I think Bitcoin, if you decide to get into Bitcoin, don't put your whole life savings in Bitcoin,
Yep.
but put a little bit to where you feel okay if it drops or if it goes down to zero. If anything happens, you'll be like, all right, I'm still good. I'm still good. I'm not
Yep.
I don't have anything, left type of deal.
Yeah.
But
Don't put your mortgage in there. Let's not do
yeah,
all that. You know.
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Um, I would say in terms of like investment side, are you invested in the market, Ken?
So yeah, I'm currently invested in the market right now. So I have like a financial advisor who does all that type of stuff for me. So I'm invested in the market currently, nothing Bitcoin or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just a different investor, like the volatility kind of just, it's a lot for me. But I think to your point, when you do have a lot of corporate money that is coming in there, that is a really good sign that, it definitely is official. And I think the strategy that you said, put a little bit of a portion in there, see how it grows, and kind of see where your appetite goes from there. And I think that's the best way to approach anything in life, and,
Right.
and if it does make sense, and you're starting to see a return and you have the stomach for it, go 2 feet in,
Exactly.
so that's what we do, you know?
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I think another thing I want to bring up here is, have you heard of Robinhood?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Do you use Robinhood?
Yeah, I use Robinhood. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about Robinhood? Because I know there has been lawsuits against Robinhood this
Yeah,
past
I mean, yeah, to me, it's great. I think it's easy to use. I pulled up on the phone. I'm seeing things that are going up and down. I'm buying different things. I think it's great. I personally love it. To me, it made the whole entire buying process easier because I remember back in the day, you would have to literally go online and set up an account and da 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 da. We have these kids now. My little brother is no more than 20, 19 years old with a Robinhood account, trading, doing Forex on his phone. And it's
I
just the
know.
usability of it now. It's nuts, man. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because there's more investors now in the market than there has ever been.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there's more people using Robinhood, and like it's like the ease of use in that platform I think is what gets people using it more. There's other apps like M1 Finance and things like that. I don't personally invest in Robinhood. I just have like Vanguard and Fidelity
Okay.
um,
Yep.
that I invest in. But I think because of there's a lot of young traders, or not traders, investors that are trading right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they're using like margin, and they're using options. Are
Yep.
you familiar with that?
Yep. Option. Yep.
Do you use that?
No, I don't personally. No.
Yeah.
No, I
For
don't.
a beginner, I wouldn't
I
advise.
would recommend it. No.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
And
Uh-uh.
it's one of those things that there's this one, I think it's on Reddit or something, but it's called Wall Street Bets.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And it's basically these people that like go YOLO on stock trading. Like they would
Mhm.
go margin, they would be like 100 grand in debt.
No shit.
Yeah, and like
Wow.
it's crazy. They're like losing all this money and stuff. That's I don't that for a beginner that wants to be invested in the market, that is not the place to start.
No,
Not the place to start. I think
not at all.
we'll probably dive deep more into investing in
Yeah.
another episode. But for one thing, do more research. Do your
100%.
research before you park your money in something that you're not. In investing, it's not for the short term. It's a
Yep.
long term play. It's not
Yep.
timing the market. It's more time in the market.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between a day trader and an investor. And if anything, you want to
Absolutely.
be an investor.
100%. I love that analogy. There's a difference between a day trader and an investor. Are you in it for the long term? You're in it for the short term gains, So I think if you go into, Bitcoin with a short term mindset, you're going to cause more trouble for yourself than anything. And I think, to your point, going in from that investor's perspective and point of view and taking that into account, I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And it's like anything in life, it's a long-term play. Take your time if you're going to end up doing it. And just like what you said too, and this is so true in life, right? Let's just put a little bit of money in. Let's just try it out, see what happens. And once we feel comfortable, let's start pushing the pace a little bit more, ease into the process and do it like that. So not so much more tactical type stuff, but just overall basic understanding and really the element and strategy of it. I think that's what people can get out of this more than the tactical type stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll talk more about investing. I think that's always a good topic to talk about in another episode. Okay, next is TikTok and Clubhouse.
Yes.
The apps.
Love Clubhouse. Love Clubhouse.
I just got into Clubhouse. Okay, so I'm sure you've been in Clubhouse longer than I have.
I've been in for a minute. Yes, it's
Tell
awesome.
me about it. Tell me about it.
So it's the way I talk about Clubhouse is it's just like a big phone call. It's more or less where you have these moderators who are literally talking to one another. Then you can basically go into one of the rooms and listen to their conversations. So you're almost being a fly on the wall to these multi-billionaires, millionaires who are talking with their millionaire friends and talking about the stuff that they're talking about behind closed doors that we're not privy to. Like when you go to those big events where you have all those entrepreneurs there, then after those events, everybody else goes to like the bars and different things like that. And these guys go to that backroom dinner, right? Like all the bosses, all the people who are really good at what they do. And it's those interesting conversations that you're able to hear and the perspective and the learning that you're getting, man, it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's an invite only app, right?
Yeah, invite only.
That's crazy. And I just started, just going from room to room. And it's very interesting because, like you said, you're just there, but literally you got like people, big name marketers on there, and you can just you can raise your hand, talk to them.
Yep.
They're talking to each other. Yep. And it's literally like kind of like a live show / podcast, like just sitting there hanging out type thing.
Yeah.
Like sitting in on their phone call. That's what it feels like.
That's a perfect way that you put it. It's like sitting in on a millionaire's phone call, and not just even business, but just about whether it's health, wealth, mental, different types of niches that are all in there, but you're able to talk and, not only just listen and talk back to these people, but the networking that you're able to do within there is absolutely incredible. It's insane. I mean, you could talk to a dude like Gary Vee in one of these Clubhouse rooms if you raise your hand to talk. Like, what type of the amount of access that you have in 2021 is insane.
Yep.
We're living in the greatest time, bro, in ever in the world to get it the way you want to get it, man. It's like the gold rush. It's incredible.
Like there's no excuse to not be able to network out there these days. There's always an avenue. And it's interesting with Clubhouse because I think it's one of those things where you got to get in early, find someone that get in, because just looking at how it's set up right now, if it gets flooded, it's going to get flooded, and it's going to be hard if you're like, last person in. You kind of want to establish yourself if that's something that interests you. That's what it looks like right now at this point.
Yeah, no, I think I think you're absolutely right. And I think if you're a person that's looking to want to grow your audience on a channel like that, definitely, you get your invite, you get invited. If you have any friends or any people that have of substantial clout or value, get on a Clubhouse with them or get a group of people and create a topic that you guys are talking about. 2021 business goals. Have them all invite their friends to the Clubhouse. Give immense value and watch your audience grow. And do that 2-3 times a week, man. And you're going to explode on that platform. It's such an amazing opportunity. What do you see as like, for you as like a business owner, what do you see on how you could leverage it?
I think in terms of, let's say, content creation, like if you're a content creator if you create YouTube videos or things like that, I think it's a great way to kind of migrate your audience over into Clubhouse, have your own room, and have like chats. I mean, it's kind of similar in a way to like Discord. Um, Discord is really popular with like live streaming and among those people.
Mm-hmm.
And within Discord, you're able to set up separate rooms, and people are able to, within your Discord, are able to have conversations. So basically it's a community that builds up in itself. So I think with Clubhouse, it's also has that ability to build a community within itself to where you can have direct access to your audience. So it's just like another thing that will be, I guess, more exclusive for your audience if that's something that they're interested in and want to get more in-depth conversations, more in contact with you. Like that type of play would be beneficial for content creators.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's 110%. I completely agree with that. And I think from my perspective too. I mean, just the amount of reach that you can get on that platform. I mean, think about radio, right? Your Power 106 or one of these big time radio companies, and you're able to talk on radio and reach thousands upon thousands of people daily. The number one thing in marketing, if you're able to capture somebody's ear and have them listen, and they trust you and they see your value, you can sell different offers and different things that you want to do, and lead them to an email list, lead them to, whatever it is. It's your own radio station, but it's an interactive radio station. And it's so, it like spreads like wildfire because it's invite only and people have to invite people. It's incredible, man.
Right. And I think it'll be interesting with that model because most social platforms you can just download, sign up, and you're there. So just the growth is quicker. But with Clubhouse, it's invite only, so it kind of slows down. It'll be interesting to see its growth and see how fast it'll grow. I think it's one of those things where people always like to see or have that exclusive inside on anything else. That's why it's called Clubhouse. It's like you want to be a part of the Clubhouse, type thing. So there's always that interest with people. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a good app right now at this point. I think one thing they can improve on with the layout of the profiles is, it's just a simple layout for each profile.
Super simple, yeah.
I think if you're able to add like maybe things like, I don't know, a couple pictures or whatnot in addition to what you have, I can make it better. But it's strictly just audio.
Yeah.
Which is cool because audio is still growing right now.
Yeah, it's auditory, man. And I've always been a person where I like to listen to different things, and I like audiobooks, more than reading. So for me, it's just like heaven on earth, and you're listening to all of these cool people that you just wouldn't have access to. And it's just, man, I was on a Clubhouse today, and they were talking about, and me, I love webinars, and there was a Clubhouse on $50 million webinar secrets with some of the best webinar experts within the whole entire game. And just listening to their conversations, these high-level people who've done millions of dollars on webinars, and just hearing their perspective, these little tactical things that they're doing, I would have paid $2,000 or $3,000 for that information, and I'm getting it from a Clubhouse. Like it's insane, man.
That's crazy. It's powerful. Yeah, it's one of those things. Is if you're able to get an invite, you just get in there and try to build your audience and make connections and network. I think it's a great networking tool too.
And can we send invites, Mike?
We can send invites.
Damn, what would be pretty cool if we have in the comments on the YouTube, whoever leaves like the best comment, whoever wins, we can send them like a Clubhouse invite. Haven't been invited.
Yeah. There you go. Be part of our exclusive club.
Yeah,
perfect. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, TikTok. Let's share my screen here.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay, so TikTok. Let's look at the figures here. in its growth.
Okay, let's see.
So right now in this chart, um, it says January 2020. So TikTok is just under Instagram. For all the uh, listeners and audio, Facebook is number one. Then it goes YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, WeChat, Instagram, then TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok has been one of the fastest growing apps in 2019, and I think it's still super young, and it's going to keep growing here in 2020 and now 2021.
Yeah.
But that platform, it kind of gives me like Vine, Instagram vibes.
Yeah, 100%.
Early days.
100%. Definitely early day Vine, like just that content that's just quick, easy, that people are flocking to in the moment type stuff. So when you say, okay, so that's interesting that you said like the feeling of it's very Vine. Do you think it has a big stickability? You think it's going to be around for a long time? What's your feeling on that?
Yes.
Okay.
If they're able to, okay, here's the thing. What I see with TikTok that is sticking is the education niche
Okay.
in TikTok.
Okay.
There's people on there, creators that teach how to make a meal, how to cook a specific dish, for example, if they're a cook. There's people that show how to do quick crafts. There's people that, show how to, do, this certain thing. When it comes to making stuff, for example, making money, marketing, things like that. I think right now at this point, it's still super great and super, I wouldn't say easy, but to get that organic reach.
Yeah, 100%.
Compared to like Instagram. Instagram, it's already hit its kind of plateau. Right now, if you want to reach people, you got to pay ads. And that's the best way. Organic reach, not so much. TikTok, 100%. I think I'll probably leave this for the next one, but I did an experiment on TikTok.
Okay, awesome.
And what I did, I haven't shared this with anyone yet, but I started January 2020, and I was like,
okay,
I'm gonna post every day or every other day, and see where it takes me within a year.
Okay.
The goal was to hit 10K, but
got it.
But there was a surprise. I'm not gonna say what happened, but I think I'm gonna leave it for the next one. Maybe give some TikTok tips based on my experience for the year.
Yes. Absolutely.
But based on my experience, it's one of those apps that if you want to just grow, and if you're consistent with it, you can like grow and migrate those followers to like your Instagram, your YouTube channel, and things like that, or set up like email capture or text message. It's still a great app in terms of like searchability and growing your audience.
Yeah, 100%. No, I absolutely love what you said too. And I'm actually very, very much so excited for that experiment and what has came from it. But yeah, I mean, for all of our listeners out here, when it comes to, Mike made a really good point. So when it comes to platforms and social media platforms, we know that they get paid via advertising. So when you have a new platform that comes to market and you're able to post, and when he's talking about he has more reach, that means a whole bunch of people are able to see the content. They're not trying to throttle you or anything like that, or make you pay to get more people to see your stuff, because they want the platform to grow and different things like that. Due to like Facebook, if you make a Facebook post back in the day, all of your followers would see it. And now you might only have 10 or 15 people see it. And if you want to reach the rest of them and more, you got to pay. So, if you're a new business owner right now, when new platforms come out like TikTok, like Clubhouse, those are the best times, the best opportunities, because the reach is incredible and you can reach so many people because they're not throttling you, because advertisers aren't a real play at the moment in time. So get in while it's early. So
Right. And
big
it
fact.
usually, like, all these apps usually start the same. The young kids get in, the old people that are a little bit older, like, oh, this is just a kids app, you know? And I
Yeah.
think people still think TikTok is a kids app, but you'll be surprised. There's a lot of 20-year-olds and some 30-year-olds on TikTok too. TikTok does a great job filtering kind of like your interests and like what you
Right.
like.
Yeah.
They don't just show you random stuff, but a very interesting thing that TikTok does is right out, like right off the gate, when you open the app, the video starts playing right away.
Mm-hmm.
They, it's
Yep.
it's it's the ease in which people are able to watch it. They just scroll, 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 video plays right away. And it's very,
Yep.
very interesting. And I think that's one of the things that you can get lost. Like, I have to stop myself from watching TikToks over a
Yeah.
period of time,
100%.
right? It's kind
A
of
hundred
addicting. You just got to stop.
percent. 100%. It's like that. That social dilemma video. That
Yes,
people. I'm not sure if people seen it or people haven't seen it
Netflix.
on Netflix. And man,
You
it
have to
was so
watch it.
mind blowing. Man, it's yeah. If you guys are listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, wherever you are, you need to watch Social Dilemma. It will blow your mind. But it talks about basically the whole entire job of these platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, is to keep you scrolling. And that's why every single video that comes next is like, damn, that's interesting too. Damn, that's interesting too. And everything that you do, especially, this is a great example on YouTube, every single video that you're watching, YouTube is literally building almost a profile of you on the back end through their algorithm, knowing exactly what you like, what you skip, what you don't like. So every single recommended video down to the T, they know that you're going to watch. And why are they doing that, guys? Just like what we talked about. Because if I can keep your eyeballs for as long as possible, I can serve as many ads to you as possible. Therefore, I make more money. So you got to be aware of that.
Exactly. And one thing to add into is when you're in, so based on that video or the movie, The Social Dilemma, it's easy to get sucked into one, I guess, vortex of your interests, right? And obviously it's natural for the app to have that set up like that because they want you on the app as much as possible. If no one's on the app, then the app's worthless. So
Mhm.
for a person to, I would say, keep an open mind with everything. Don't just get sucked into one vortex of like your interests and things like that. Look at, keep an open mind to other things on social media, because if you're sucked into one thing, then you're going to have a closed mind, and that's
100%.
not good. That's not good.
100%.
Right.
100%. Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I mean, you got to keep your eyes open all the time and just seeing where there's other opportunities. I mean, if you're on Facebook and you're trying to make it, you don't have a lot of money, and you got a big play on TikTok where they're just starting out and the gates are open, really, you should put your focus there. And to everybody who says that, oh, these platforms are only for young kids, different things like that. If you've ever studied business, there's like this adoption model. And it talks about with any product, you have your first movers, who are people that will try products out before the whole entire market tries out products. Then you have the other people who are willing to try it after. Then you have all the late bloomers and different things. All products follow the exact model. When people got the iPhone, it was more younger people because the older people are used to using flip phones and different things like that. Look at Facebook. It used to be all college kids, and now your grandma and your mama's on Facebook. So, we know how this game works, so it's just a natural progression. So get in early, you're going to be glad. So,
Yep. Exactly. Look at the trends. Okay. Uh, education space. Education space.
yeah, big
More
education space. I love online
specifically,
education.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the article, New York Magazine. Um, and so this we're talking. Oh, you don't see it yet?
No, I don't see it yet.
Yeah, let me bring it up. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. Okay, so New York Magazine. It says here, the coming disruption. Scott Galloway predicts a handful of elite cyborg universities will soon monopolize higher education. Okay, before we get into
Mm.
that, uh, obviously the whole situation that we're in affected education space, and it's, I would say, even more so the colleges and universities. Like the
Big
the
time.
the elementary schools, the high schools, they're going to get back on their feet. I mean, they're just starting to get back on their feet slowly but surely. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, high school, I get it, got to go, right? Universities, on the other hand, it's kind of like, at this point, is a $51,000 tuition worth it if you're going to be in front of the computer 24/7? And this article talks about, is that worth it? Do parents see that as worth it for their kids?
I mean, I don't think, I think this is a decision where I don't, I think that parents, if their kid's going to Harvard, they're going to be like, yeah, let me make sure that you do your online education and different things like that. But honestly, just looking at this, to me, it's almost like having a glorified Netflix that costs $90,000. Like, that's ridiculous to me, and I think that education in itself is going to be disrupted. And for the simple fact that, you can get the same type of education for a fraction of the cost than what these universities are teaching you. I mean, half of the reason what you really pay for in college is really the networking and being in that environment. And if you're not doing that, that's not worth the $90,000 or whatever you're paying to be at one of these MIT, Oxfords, or Stanfords. It's just not worth it in my eyes.
You know what's interesting? This article also talks about how some big universities are planning on partnering with big tech companies um, to kind of entice or bring in enrollment, because there's a possibility that, you know, kids are able to have a job right after. So for example, like, it says right here, like Harvard, Facebook, Stanford, MIT at Google, more streamlined approach.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's just crazy because they should have been doing this for the last 20 plus years, and now all of a sudden where the industry is getting disrupted, and now all of a sudden we have to bet, what they're trying to do is better the offer. But just think about it, you're paying $90,000 a year, $180,000 for 2 years, upwards to $400,000 for college, and you're not even guaranteed a job. Let's say you get a decent job at $70,000 a year. You have to eat, have food, and you have to pay all that back. That to me seems like one of the biggest scams in American history. And I'm very much so like been that. Like, that's just my opinion.
You know what this also says too? It's like, it says that universities are, it's like the bigger universities is less about education, more about credentials. Like
Yeah.
the name is
Yeah.
more important
Yeah.
in some
Yeah,
aspects
but
of it.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that if you're going into school when it comes to being an accountant or a lawyer or something with a general license, I completely 110% agree. It makes perfect sense. I think when it comes to, other companies like Google and different things like that, like I heard one of these companies, I forget if it was Google or Apple, where they don't even require a college degree. It's just based around talent. And that's what the market should reward. It's no longer just about if you have a credential or you're Mr. or Doctor or whatever that should be. The market should always validate and honor talent over credentials, and that's the way this world's built. Survival of the fittest. If you're the best in the world, you should always shine. And I don't believe it should ever be based off of that, you know?
Yep. Okay, so the big question is, if you are about to go to college and this whole situation is just happening, what would you do? Would you go to college?
Would I do it?
Not go to college? Take a year off?
Depends on what my focus is. Am I like a business guy, or am I like a doctor, accountant, lawyer?
Let's say same situation that you
Yeah.
were in, I guess mindset wise, when you were about to get into college and this
Mhm.
whole situation happened.
Mhm.
What would you do?
When I was that age, man, I didn't have the mindset that I would have, so I would probably go to college, to be honest with you, and I would do that, and I wouldn't know, you know, it just took a little bit more years for me to have this perspective, but me having this perspective now to tell the younger guy, you know, if you're a person who is a license, you know, you need a license, I do suggest going to school and doing what you need to do and doing the online thing. But if you don't, I'm telling you, man, don't do it. Don't spend that $60,000, $70,000 for a year of business school when you can have the same type of education going online, and you could study that for maybe $1,000 you pay in a whole year. I'm telling you, it'll mess you up, man, with those student loans. It's no joke.
Hmm. And also to, I guess, to consider, because, you know, I guess it depends on if it's something that, you know, you like, if someone that learns well with structure,
Yeah.
you know, going into college, you're still super young. For most people, they don't know what they want to do and things like that. If you're able to, you know, hopefully get a few grants here and there, some scholarships, maybe bring down the tuition a little bit, and you're able to take the tuition and
Yeah.
go, then okay. I mean, for me, at the same time, I would still go. I don't regret going to college, because for me, it was just more the experience. Because,
Right.
like, personally, I didn't know I thought I was gonna get like a corporate job and things like that. I didn't know I was gonna go run my own business, but it
Mhm.
was just those different experiences that kind of like built up on each other. And, you know, if I wasn't able to, you know, start creating videos in my college and build up from there, I wouldn't have a portfolio. I wasn't be able to do all those things. And so it just depends on the situation, on you. But yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough question
It's tough.
because
It's a tough one, dude. Yeah, I'm on the opposite fence. I wouldn't go, man. It's just, for me, it's just not worth the revenue rewards, because you're absolutely
mm,
right. Like, it was the experience and just everything like that that really, for me, made college, you know, more than
yeah,
less than the curriculum. But if I wasn't able to get that aspect, for
maybe
me,
take a year off.
I would take a year off. Yeah, you know, but to your point,
Would
you
you do like a online with the college if the tuition was less,
um,
or just or do like a no?
no, no,
No.
I just wouldn't.
I like the honesty.
No,
I like the honesty.
I just wouldn't. I'm just keep it real on here.
True.
I
Okay.
wouldn't, you
Love it.
know. Yeah, I would just go learn from a guy who's actually done it, and not
So would you go if you were interested at that point in time? What were your interests? Was it like business?
it was business. Yeah.
So you would go and maybe intern with someone.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I would, you know,
Yep.
and I've always been a self-starter type person where I would get myself in something. And for me, I would for sure would be interning somewhere and learning from somebody who's actually doing it on a day-to-day, then taking a course from an expert who's actually done what I wanted to do or am trying to do. I think I would get more value from that than I would, you know, spending that time doing this, you know, online school experience, and spending all that money on the back end.
Yeah, you brought up a good point because because some people say take a year off, but what does that mean? Like you're just not going to do anything. You got to do something,
Oh,
you know?
oh yeah, yeah. No, I never
Yeah.
recommend that. You got
And
to.
I like that point that you made because if you go and find an internship, it doesn't have to be in person. It could be like online or whatever,
Mhm.
with someone that can be added to your resume for when it's time. If you decide you want to go into college, that can be a resume booster.
Yeah,
Like,
100%,
there's
100%.
always a different angle somewhere.
Always, man. There's no, there's no right and wrong way to do this. There's so many different ways and different strategies. You just gotta find what works for you and be in tune with who you are. If you're a self-starter, a person who doesn't need so much structure, you could do something like that. But if you're not, then the other route would be better for you. So it's just knowing who you are as a person, understanding yourself.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And there's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on the person.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that's a tough situation. But
Glad I'm not.
honestly, I'm kind of glad we're out of college
Yeah, for real.
right
I'm
now.
glad. Yeah, that would be tough, man.
Jeez.
No way.
But like anything, this whole situation will pass. Things will get better. Just gotta take it day by day,
100%, dude.
and stay
100%.
safe. Um,
100%.
all right. Last topic: streaming wars. Will movie theaters last?
Oh man, that's just such a depressing when you said that. Well, movie theaters last. That's so depressing, bro. I love the movie theaters. Like I love going and having popcorn and we were talking prior to the show about when you used to go and like the Avengers and how that was such an amazing time. Everybody was at the movie theaters waiting in line and like it was just such an experience. And you know, do I think that movie theaters are going to be a thing of the past? I don't think they're fully going to be a thing of the past, but I just truly think that
So not like blockbuster level.
yeah, exactly. I don't think it'll be to that level, but there's going to be a big drop in people going. But for the movie theater companies to last, it's going to be more based on experience more than anything else because it has to be, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of theaters. Some are going out of business, but the ones that are still staying in business, they're more tailored toward the luxury side, the experience side, like you said, recliner chairs, service, food service, things like that. Kind of like
Yeah.
feeling like you're in like a high-end restaurant / watching a nice movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, man. And I think it's going to be experimental dinners, different things like that, because, with the rise of streaming right now, that has been absolutely incredible. We just saw that, Apple, has their streaming service, Disney Plus, Netflix, and during these pandemics, HBO has their own streaming service, and they've had over 17 movies from last year and this year be pushed directly to their platform a week after they came out in theaters. That is
Wow.
crazy, and it used to be like when we used to watch Avengers, we have to wait 3 or 4 months before a movie would hit streaming. And they're pushing it to these streaming platforms so quickly. So it's a different world now, It's
It's
crazy.
so interesting when you see commercials. So now, at the end, you know how they always say, now playing. Now at the end, they say, now streaming.
Exactly. Yeah, for real. Like now streaming, like Wonder Woman, they're talking about it being out in theaters. Then as soon as that was done, they're pushing it directly to these platforms, So it's just a crazy, crazy world right now. But I do love the rise of streaming. I think it's so interesting. And I just think it's such an amazing play, because I think it's very profitable for these companies, and they're dumping so much content, so much revenue into content right now. We're getting more content and TV shows and movies than we've ever had in any time in modern history because these companies are competing so hard against each other. Who has the best shows? Who has the best movies? And we as consumers, we're loving it. We're only paying $7 a month. It's a great place to be in,
And also, too, it's a good business model because if you think about it, like with the movies, movies are out, people would watch for a certain period of time, and then it goes straight to DVD. Now, each company has built a big library that people can pay monthly subscription. So you got reoccurring revenue. So you're able to forecast what your revenues will look like in the future easily. and they built up like that library of movies and shows that people can just watch, binge watch, go
Yeah,
back and watch, like I don't know, Family Guy or whatever
yeah,
else, and
yeah,
then go watch the newest movie.
yeah.
It's so interesting how that is, but I think it's here to stay. People
Oh,
watch it on their phones, on anything else. It's so convenient. But
yeah.
I think movie theaters they're still gonna stay here and there, but
Mhm.
you gotta give it time. It's not gonna come back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was checking out these stats too. So basically, so they were talking about Disney, and they said by 2024, Disney will spend anywhere between 14 to 16 billion dollars a year on content. How crazy is that? 14 to 16 billion dollars. And that's just how much money they're putting into this. And Disney is currently forecasting 260 million subscribers by 2024, on track to eventually overtake Netflix, who's currently at 105 million subscribers right now.
Because the one thing that Netflix did well is they invested back into their content. So they already had fresh content. I know the one problem that Disney Plus was facing in 2020 was they didn't have enough fresh content. I think that's why they started putting in more investment into the content, because they were losing behind Netflix,
Subscribers.
losing
Yeah,
subscribers. Yeah.
yeah, they were churning subscribers, man. It was crazy. Because that's actually a really good point. Because I remember I was logging in, and I think that the executives took the play that, okay, we have a huge inventory of videos that we know that people love, and that we've had for years, and we've all seen them before. So it's just a library of stuff we've seen before. We love them, but we're in a world where Americans, we have short attention spans because we're so used to getting things
Yep.
instantly and now. And if we're not able to get that newest piece of content, we're not going to stick around. And that's what Netflix has. I mean, it's every single week Netflix is coming out. I mean, their pipeline for content is incredible.
Yep. I think one of the saving movies on Disney Plus was have you seen The Mandalorian?
Yeah, it's The Mandalorian. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it was good. It was good.
With little Yoda. It's pretty,
Yeah. Yeah, that
pretty
I
dope.
think I think Disney Plus came out at the right time, having
Yeah.
streaming when this whole thing started, because it saved them. It
Yeah,
saved them. If they didn't have it, I mean, what else do they
man.
have?
You know what I'm saying? Literally, they came out with that right before this pandemic situation, or was it during the pandemic they came out with this, or after?
Just
Or
before, I
right,
think
yeah, just
January,
before.
like beginning of the year.
Yeah, and having that reoccurring revenue coming in, I mean, that definitely washed some costs and kind of kept them above water. But yeah, it's going to be a big play. It's going to be a big war, man. I can't wait to see who wins this war between Netflix and Disney, and you got the HBO in the business and Apple. It's going to be a play, but I think the real winners in all of this are the subscribers, because for
Yep.
$2 a month, we get to watch endless content.
The
We're never
best
without it.
content now because they're
The
competing.
best, baby. Yes, the best. So we're always gonna be with content. So we're the real MVPs right now.
Yep. Hey,
So
I ain't complaining. I
I
ain't
ain't
complaining.
complaining. I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
guys fight that fight.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna enjoy
Fight,
this.
fight the good war.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think we're good. Do you have anything else to add to the
nah.
topic?
I think I'm really glad for everybody who's tuning into the show. I think that it's going to be a beautiful show. We're going to have our guests. We're always going to have the best content, and it's only going to get better. And like we talked about, make sure you definitely comment within the comments if you can. The best comment, we will invite you to Clubhouse, and that'll be something that we look at doing.
Yep. And then also too, if you enjoyed this show, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't have to hit it, tap it,
Smash.
and also the notification bell. Make sure to click on that too, so you stay notified on our next upload. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining us here in 2 Feet In on the
2 Feet In,
2
baby.
Feet In show. This is Mike and Kenny signing out. Peace.
Peace.